everyone, it's Julia here in the van. As you can see, I'm getting ready to sew on my awesome Singer heavy-duty sewing machine, which is about 200 bucks, and it's the most amazing sewing machine I've ever had. I wanted to show you the process of me setting up so you can see what it's like. The project I'm working on today is finishing this patchwork bag that I started, just made out of recycled jeans. The liner is going to be this beautiful fabric. You can see I put my table out here, which is a way for me to have a flat surface in the van that's not furry, because that's one of the issues with sewing in the van. And then sometimes I just lay it right where the camera is right now on the ground. Sometimes I can sew outside, but it's extremely windy today. This stuff would just fly off the table. But I'm going to work on this project today and show you different bits of it. I'll do a video in the future about how I got started sewing. But I've been sewing since 1998 and upcycling clothes most of that time. I started out just doing patchwork dresses, but I quickly began to just alter things and sell them. So I've been doing this for a long time. And I've been in a van since 2015. I started out for 4 months at first, then rented a space, then got back in the van for like 5 months, then rented an apartment for a year, and then I got back into the van June of 2016, and I've been in vans ever since. This is my third van. And in all of that time, what I did was rent spaces to sew, whether it was a friend's for a week or I sewed in a vintage hotel once for a couple of weeks. One time I sewed in a campground in Asheville, North Carolina for a while. I sewed in my mechanic's extra office in San Diego for about a year. And then here I've had 2 separate studios and then one like art cooperative where I was able to come in with the machine and sew, but then I'd have to tear it down and bring it with me. But that was cool. Oh, and then I had a studio also in St. Louis at one point. No, wait, Charleston, South Carolina. Sorry. So in all of that time since 2016, I've pretty much rented studios to sew. And whenever I couldn't do that, I wasn't earning because I always believe I couldn't sew in the van. As you can see here, I've discovered that I can sew in the van. Now, there's a couple issues with that, though. And one of them is that I can't run an iron. An iron takes a lot of energy because it's a heating element. I can't find an iron that'll run on my power station, my bigger 1500 one. Right now, I can run my sewing machine just on this little Jackery 500 watt power station, which is what we're gonna do today. Even without an iron, I can sew certain things that don't require pressing. And yeah, things are going to be maybe a little wrinkly from time to time. Some certain things I can't really do because of that. But I realized that if I work with denim, which is not as wrinkly, and I can also sew one piece onto another flat and just have a raw edge, or I can fold it, that I can do lots of sewing. So I started making denim items. I've made a denim top and several denim dresses. You can check out all of my wares in my Etsy store in the link below if you want to check it out. So I just started sewing in the van very recently. It doesn't mean I won't get another studio at one point, or maybe find a place that I can go into once a month. So the one issue is that I can't use the iron. The other thing is that I have a beautiful dog named Bambi. She's very furry. Like, it doesn't look like she's furry, but she's a Belgian Malinois mix, and she has 3 different coats, and it's a massive amount of fur. And so as clean as I try and keep my van, there's going to be a fur issue. I have to be careful with that. The other thing is, the bigger the project, the more difficult it's going to be, because as you can see, the sewing space on the table there is actually quite small. And so is this table, which actually can be folded all the way out here. So yeah, but I just wanted to let you know that you can sew in a van. And I found it to be possible. I'm going to get ready to sew right now, and I'll show you some part of that process. everyone. I did end up, well, I'm not moving very fast. I did end up making the liner for this bag. The sun is going down. This bag is taking forever. I'm actually going to tear this all down now and eat. And then I'm going to put it back up and pull out some of my extra lighting and get this bag done tonight. Move on to another project tomorrow, which of course I'll show you. Hey everyone, it's Julia. It's the next day. I have set up my sewing machine and all my stuff to start sewing again. So the first thing I wanted to show you is the bag that I completed, which is the patchwork bag. The funny thing is, yesterday I was having a really hard time filming because a gang of people showed up right next to my van, started swearing and hooting and hollering. Then a big gang came on the other side, started throwing popcorn to the birds. The birds started swirling around. It pooed all over my front window. Now, literally, as I set up the camera, after getting everything ready, a guy with a guitar and an amplifier just pulled up a few spots over and started playing. And I was like, I can make this work. I can make this work. Another dude pulls up with his guitar and amplifier. And now they're both going to be playing. So I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. But if it gets too loud, like they could be doing lullabies. They could be doing, death metal. I don't know. We'll see how loud it gets. It might be nice to have live music just slightly outside of the van. Maybe you can't even hear it, but I can. Okay, so do you want to see the bag that I made? I am so excited about this bag. It took way longer than I thought, but I absolutely love it. And now I want to make more. But I'm not going to because I have project number 2 sitting back there, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So here's the bag. I absolutely love it. You can see I made the straps as the same fabric that's on the inside. And I love the blue with the blue. And I even realized that it could be a reversible bag. Right? So I put this pocket here, which is a pocket here and here. And it's not uneven. It's just the pocket was tilted. It had this like seam, which I undid, which then ended up being too large. But anyway, it's got a pocket. And this shirt that I was working with for the liner had its own outer seams. So, I did do it where the seams are on the inside, but it has outer seams. So what was I going to do? So yeah, it's reversible. I love the softness of it on the inside. And I love how long it is. And I love the straps. So it's not exactly a tote bag. It's more of just a bag. But I think it's absolutely fabulous. And it's got the pocket there, of course. So yeah, I'll probably make more of these, mainly because, first of all, I love doing this random patchwork. But secondly, I love the idea of a fabric on the inside with the matching straps. I don't know, very cute, very cute. All right, so that's that. Now, the second project I'm working on today are these patriotic pants that I already made. And the way I do it is I open up the side of the leg and then do patches, which is much easier than like trying to put the leg underneath the sewing machine, like through it, bunching it up and trying to do the patches evenly. It's much easier to just open it. But on these ones, I kind of stupidly, I can't remember why I did it. I cut it so that made less fabric and then sewed it back together. The legs are too tight. So I'd hate to try and sell these, have them not fit, and then have to ship them back. If you get a refund, I basically didn't make a sale, but shelled out $15 for no reason. And did a bunch of work, preparing it for shipping, all the things. So I put a lot of measurements and details in there. So yeah, shipping is a lot. So I want to make sure when I make an item, it doesn't have a flaw and like this. So what we're going to do today is open them back up and add in fabric. The only thing I have to decide is, do I want to add similar light fabric or somewhat contrasting, slightly darker fabric? Now, the idea is not to necessarily do a bell, because it's so thin. I've tried to do bell bottoms with really thin legs pants, and it looks weird because it's like this thin leg and then this giant bell. It's just kind of weird. It's best to make bell bottoms when you're adding more fabric to something that's already flared. So I don't necessarily want to do that. And the other reason is, for each piece of clothing, they have to like the design, but it has to fit them, both up here in the waist, and then it also has to be the right length. That's a lot of things. Now, you add to that, for something like this, they have to be patriotic, and half the country isn't. And on top of that, if I added a bell, they'd have to be patriotic and hippie, and like bell-bottom hippie stuff. That's a lot of things to find the right buyer. So what I want to do is just a piece of fabric that has a slight flare, but not a bell bottom. And I could, of course, add this flag fabric to the sides, but I just think that's going to be a little much, like flag fabrics on the front and then on the side. I really don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to use a fabric, and then I'm going to put like a heart of the flag fabric on one side and maybe some random top patches on the other side, something to give it a little something, but not too much. Okay, I'm not trying to make like 60s here. I'm just trying to make a patriotic pair of pants with a little bit of detail. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm not going to show you every step of the way. This is not an explicitly sewing channel. Yeah, so I'm going to get going. Uh-oh, we have a problem. I didn't realize or remember these legs are twisted. So it doesn't matter now, like once these are on, it would be even, but see how the line's so far in over here? On this side, it's twisted to the back. You can see this here, the seam there, and the seam here is under there. Again, if these were just being worn as is, it would be fine. But if I put fabric on the sides and make this side detail, and the sides aren't even, that's going to be kind of weird, uneven, and awkward. So I think instead I'm gonna... Wait, why are they upside down now? Because I'm giving up on these pants as pants. I'm going to cut off the legs, and I'm going to use these sections, which will be double, of course, because the back, as the bottom of a top or dress. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a patriotic top or dress, probably a top. So the second project, these pants, has now turned into a different project, which will take longer, but I think it'll be cute. And the good thing is that this flag fabric has flags going in all different directions, you see, so it doesn't really matter if I turn it upside down. So yeah, so it'll be thinner at the top, wider at the bottom. I'll probably put some other fabric, in between them, and that'll make the whole bottom of a piece, maybe with other patriotic flag fabric added. We'll see, something like that. That's the plan. Could change. All right, I'm going to try and figure this out. Okay, now I'm kind of excited. As I'm looking through my box of things, I realize I have this parts of what was like overalls. Here's the top. I already know that I would need to increase the size. So maybe these pieces that I cut out of these pants will be the perfect section to put in there, because if it lines up right, I already have the edge there. Cool, right? First of all, I got to decide whether I'm going to use this bottom part with the pockets already there. And then obviously, like, I'd take more fabric and add to it on the bottom until it reaches the length of whatever this is. So I don't know how long it'll be. Or I can just cut that off, and I'll just have that top piece. So it'll be the front and the back of that, and then all these different fabrics that I have to add, and just make the whole patchwork bottom, including, thankfully, light tones that are the exact same tone as this. So yeah, just be like all kinds of fabric, all different places, making a cool jumper like that. Wouldn't it be cool if I made a video that was like that, and then I went, and then it was all made? Maybe I'll do that. The other thing about this is these are really like worn. Like even if I had an iron and I pressed it, it's still going to end up going like that. So I'll probably end up cutting these straps off and making new ones. And they don't necessarily have to connect with that, but maybe they will have holes in them so it'll be adjustable. I mean, the whole thing's like raw anyway. You know, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And then maybe here there'd be some more patriotic. Oh, and by the way, yes, obviously in this project, I will be adding more of the patriotic fabric. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little jumper. It's going to have all these different denims, and then it's going to have more of the patriotic fabric. This might take a minute. It might take a minute. I'm going to finish filming for today, so we'll see you in the next clip. Well, you know, creativity is not a straight line. It's more like a meandering path. And you're like walking along in the forest and you're enjoying yourself going along the path, and then something doesn't feel right, or you get a little bit lost, or it doesn't seem like what you thought it was going to be. So you see another path and you start going down that path and you're like, yeah, this is the right path. And then after a while, you know, you're like, you know, this path is not really leading where I want to go. So you see another path, and that path's actually like glowing, you know? And so you take that path and you're like, yeah, this is the path. And you're walking along and it's wonderful. And suddenly you come to a big thing of flowers, and then there's a waterfall, and you're just enjoying your walk through the forest. And then you finally arrive at your destination, and it's just wonderful. That's kind of what just happened to me. You can see in this video that I've had 3 projects that I wanted to work on, which was the patchwork bag I was working on, the patriotic pants, and then I was going to make some little jean tops with a patriotic bottom. Well, all week I've been struggling with this whole process, both the sewing and the filming of it. And as you can see in my last clip, I finally came up with this idea to do this jumper with the patriotic pants. Just cut them off and use those pieces in the jumper. Well, now I've changed my mind again, but I really think I'm on the right path now. So what I've decided to do now is, and I love the idea of the jumper, don't get me wrong, and I will make more jumpers, and I might even make patriotic jumpers, but I thought, you know, if I make this one jumper, it's going to be great, but it's just going to be this one jumper. So I decided what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to make more patchwork bags, and I'm going to make patriotic patchwork bags. So you see, I've come full circle now to the original first project, which is the patchwork bag, which I loved. So I think these bags are going to be great. I already have some of the patriotic fabric cut into patches that I pre-cut for doing patchwork on jeans in the van. Before I left my last studio, because I thought I might try sewing in the van, which of course I ended up doing. So these bags are going to be great. I'll capture some of the sewing of the bags, and then I'll do a video for you showing you all of the completed bags. The thing about the patriotic bags is that, or any patriotic item or any holiday item, is that you kind of have to get them done well in advance of the holiday, because you have to complete the project, photograph them, list them, and then buyers have to find them, and then it has to ship to them in time before the holiday. So I really need to get to sew into these bags this week and possibly next week as well, so I can get them in my Etsy store in time for people to buy them and receive them before the 4th of July. And of course, you can be patriotic all year round, but I definitely want to have them done and available before the 4th of July. So yeah, I'm super excited about this new path that I'm on. Yeah, I'll be showing you all of that. So thank you for watching this video. It kind of all came full circle. Not a lot of sewing in the video, but the struggle of trying to decide what the heck am I doing. There's been a lot of struggles with distractions. I literally just had a big bus right in the middle of this video, which might be like not centered with my first clip now, because a big bus just revved up right next to the van, and I was like waiting for them to go, and then a bunch of dogs in this doggy daycare started barking. And don't tell me how I could just move, because it doesn't matter where I go, there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on outside of the van, eternally distracting me. So I have to stay focused, keep moving forward, keep sewing, keep making videos, and that's what I intend to do. So thank you for watching this video. Please definitely subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and like the video because that helps it get out. Definitely become a member if you'd like to have more content and support the channel. And don't forget to check out my handmade upcycled clothing and bags down in the description below. You'll find a link to my Etsy store. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.